It's now emerging that dozens have been killed in an extremist attack in Mali's capital, Bamako, this week. Malian authorities have not released a death toll, but one security source said 77 people were killed, while a diplomatic source based in the region said hundreds were believed to be dead. An al-Qaeda-linked group has claimed responsibility for Tuesday's attack on a military training school and a nearby airport. A Malian newspaper reported that funerals for some 50 police cadets were to be held on Thursday. The attack is the first of its kind in years to hit Bamako. It came a day after Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso marked a year since the creation of their grouping, the Alliance of Sahel States. Let's get more on this. David Otto-Endeley, Director for Geneva Center for Africa Security and Strategic Studies, joins us live via Zoom for more on this. David, welcome to the program. Thank you for joining us here on Africa Live. David, what does the scale and complexity of the attacks in Mali indicate to you?
Well, I think it indicates, not just to myself, but also to the government of Mali, but also the regional body, the Alliance of Sahel States, that, the high level of threat which is posed by jihadists, one of the main justification for the military junta to take power still remains. Significantly, we've seen that this attack actually touched the heart of the Malian capital, Bamako, something that has not happened for years. But more significantly is the fact that, the nature of this attack appears to have been planned and prepared for quite some time, but also to coincide perhaps, with the anniversary of the 1-year formation of the Alliance of Sahel States Defense Pact. It does, of course, also demonstrate that there is more to do, not just within Mali in terms of defending against the internal threat, posed by al-Qaeda's Jenim, but also much to do in terms of the regional collaboration and coordination, because, of course, it's not just Mali that has been impacted by these attacks. As you know, Niger, Burkina Faso are also being attacked. So it's a blow, significant one, of course, to these Sahel states, that are now run by military juntas. So it's quite very concerning.
Well, David, picking up on what you've just said, in recent times, the attacks have gotten closer to the capital. Militants linked to al-Qaeda and ISIL also appear to be gaining ground. Why is this so?
Well, I think the main reason is that these jihadist groups are taking advantage of the vulnerabilities that exist within the country. Of course, the Malians have kicked out the French contingent. They have, kicked out the UN mission. So there has to be, what needs to be replaced, within this vacuum that was created. So the jihadists are taking advantage of this. Mali has, aligned itself with countries like Russia to provide some security. But that doesn't seem to be enough. And, coupled with the fact that not everyone, in terms of, what you call civil-military relationship, does support the military junta, because, of course, you have, segment of the population that believe that a democratic rule has to return. So you then have, a means by which these jihadists can penetrate the communities and plan these attacks without the authorities knowing. So it's quite a disturbing trend because these jihadists are just telling the Malian authorities and the regional bodies that, listen, we are not just limited in terms of our capabilities to launch attacks, in the outskirts of the country in the north, but we also have the capabilities and the cells, that can penetrate the heart of the country and, launch attacks on hard targets, like military, police, and even the airport, which demonstrate a combination of hard and, soft military and civilian targets. So it's a very concerning trajectory, coupled with the high level of casualties that have been reported. I understand that the Malian government will, just like many other governments, be very reluctant to advertise or talk about the number of casualties because it's not in the interest of the Malian authorities to do that. But even if it was one person that was killed, it's still very significant, to the government of Mali.
Well, David, in light of the vulnerabilities which you just mentioned, the question remains, what can the ruling junta do going forward to support the counterinsurgency approach in Mali?
I think the junta has a problem in their hands. Preliminary, understanding of what is going on is that, they are first of all focusing a lot on consolidation of power. If you've taken power, through the bullet, then of course, you need time to ensure that there is no counter coup. So a lot of the resources are being spent, to consolidate power, but also to, find new partnership. And in line with that, I think, there are a lot of distractions, which are going on, which of course is giving a lot of gaps, leaving gaps out, for these militants, to exploit. So first of all, I think what the government, the military government needs to do is to find a way to balance, between power consolidation, but also providing resources and men, for the purpose of national security and defending the territorial integrity of the state. They need to go towards, looking at those kind of elements. I mean, how do these groups manage to obtain their weapons, recruit? How do they manage to penetrate the communities and plan these attacks? So it's a whole combination, a whole society approach. But they face a challenge because, they do have, opposition within the country, people that are not really satisfied or happy with the fact that the military junta is still in power. So there are those gaps that exist. Regionally, they've established the Alliance of Sahel State. Mali is the leading, they are the leading body in terms of that alliance. And of course, I think what they need to do now is to find a way to coordinate, because these jihadist groups are spread across the Liptako-Goma triangle, which I call, the three triangle that meets Niger, Burkina Faso, and Mali. So there has to be that external coordination as well. So it's not just about what Mali does. It's about what the neighbors of Mali do. And, for them to do that, they've got a lot of, strategies to come up with and partners, to establish a very robust strategy in future and for now.